Hi, everyone. Life Coach Carissa here, back with you today to talk about a quick message about why coaches shouldn't be just for kids. Now, this idea of coaches is top of mind for me because over the past month, I've been watching my daughter, who'll be a freshman in high school this year, try out for the women's high school soccer team. And I've watched her work with the various coaches, and I've seen what an impact they have on her. And they've made this impact in such a short period of time, right? They've provided her with training tips, and they've given her feedback on her performance, and they've given her positive reinforcement that she'll tell me about. And I just see her light up, and she really wants to try that much harder at a sport that she's already very passionate about. For her, coaches are a guide on her journey of sports in high school. So it just got me to thinking, what is a coach? I mean, very simply, it's someone that instructs or trains another. So typical responsibilities of a coach would be to teach relevant skills, tactics, and techniques. And I'm certain we would all agree that we see the value of good coaches working with our kids, right? I've recognized, though, that there are elements to the coach and player relationship that as a parent, I just cannot provide. You know how that is, right? You'll tell your kid something and they're like, what are you talking about? But maybe their coach will say it and it hits them completely differently. This is normal, right? So have you ever wondered why the vast majority of adults, the concept of having a coach sort of disappears, right? It's kind of left behind in the days of schooling and our education ladder as a student. But the truth is, there is always room to grow and learn. And no matter how old you are, no matter whether it's your profession or your personal life, we have room for growth and development. So at the beginning of 2020, I had never even heard of a life coach. I admittedly was someone that thought coaches were just for kids, elementary, high school, yeah, maybe even college. Now, I did have a knowledge of business coaches because I was in the business world. But at the level of my work, it wasn't really necessarily a common practice to hear about my peers having a business coach. But, it's crazy because little did I know that I would encounter multiple life coaches on my own journey. And once I became aware of life coaches, I had this optimistic thought, maybe they can help me. I've shared parts of my story from time to time, but by the time my mid-40s arrived, I was not in a great place emotionally and physically. The years of living the emotionally dysfunctional ways that I had really placed me in this position of feeling depressed and unsatisfied and quite fragile. And it had really impacted my family. I dealt with some very dark times with our teenage son. My work suffered. Most importantly, my emotional peace. I really didn't know what that was. From the outside, I hid it pretty well, but, I thought I did. But I do remember I would go around and just look for someone else, to share my woes with so that they could tell me how they felt for me, as if that was doing anything healthy for me, but just repeating, what I really was needing to heal from. I just kept repeating it, and that wasn't moving me forward in my journey. And I can vividly remember driving to work every day and having this routine prayer that I said out loud. I had it printed and I laminated it and had it stuck in my console. And I would, it was quick and short, but I would pull that out and hold it. And I would, say that prayer as I would drive to work the same way every single morning. And I would just plead with God, for him to take away this pain, to solve this problem and help me know where to go. I always felt so lost and stuck. And as is always said, sometimes the answers will come, but they don't come in the timing that maybe we have in mind. And so answers and opportunities were going to come for me. And I believe that being able to recognize them and pursue them was a gift that God had given me, right? And so I remember confiding in my doctor at the time, and she placed me on some anti-anxiety medication to see if that would help me. And I do recall it being a good first step. I remember feeling like a cloud had been lifted from my brain, and my thinking had a little bit more clarity. I thought that was going to be the one answer that I needed, but I would soon find out that there was much more work that I was going to need to do on this journey. that more that I needed to do was really to go within and confront these childhood emotional scars and traumas and allow them, right, to look at them more closely and allow forgiveness and compassion for that past version of myself, for the other individuals that were part of that story. I also needed to do a lot of retraining of my brain because, as I've talked a lot about, our primitive brain will just keep doing what's repetitive and what's on autopilot. So I really had to overwrite these patterns of thinking that were just no longer serving me. And so I really did immerse myself in the world of life coaching. And during my journey of self-healing, I decided this is exactly what I want to do for others. I want to take all my experiences and use them to guide others on a path of healing as well. One of my first coaches was able to see the flaws in my thinking and point it out to me, and, how many of those thoughts were holding me back from my full potential. When I feared setting big goals for myself, she asked me why I was afraid. When I worried about what might go wrong, she asked me to wonder, what if it goes right? When I tried to hold strong to my viewpoint, she challenged me that there was another way to look at this. No one had really been able to connect with me like this before. And so through my journey is when I realized we could all use a coach in our lives, just like my daughter with her beginning journey of working with a high school coach. It's making an impact on her. And so in our lives, our adult working lives, living this life, we need someone who isn't personally attached to our stories and is not worried about challenging our long-held beliefs. From my personal experience, I'm going to share with you what just a few of the things that a life coach did for me. There's so many more, but I tried to pull out 10 things that I could share with you that really, in my experience, what it provided me. Number one, it helped me identify my limiting beliefs. 2, it challenged my thinking and my assumptions. 3, it supported me in creating greater clarity around my passion and purpose. 4, it supported me in defining and getting focused on my goals. Number 5, held me accountable, right? Talking to that person on a regular basis made me want to not stop the progress that I was making. Number 6, I really did learn how to be more fully present in the moment. Not perfect, but definitely so much better than I used to be. Number 7, I increased my productivity. Number 8, I learned levels of self-awareness that I had never even experienced before, which ultimately developed into confidence. Number 9, I took steps to improve myself as a human being, letting go of unhealthy judgments and envy and impatience and perfection. And number 10, as a result, I created more peace and contentment in my life, which impacted not only me, but my family, friends, everyone around me. So a coach did not replace my need for faith and spirituality or my belief in the grace and healing of my God. I felt like I was tapping into gifts that had been given to me, and I just hadn't fully seen them yet. And now I was going to be able to use them to help others. All the painful experiences I had now had a greater purpose. These were not punishments bestowed upon me as I previously viewed it. They were opportunities to grow beyond the comfort bubble I was living in and go out into the world and help people see their inner pain and struggle differently, to guide them with actual tools to heal and grow. I am grateful to all the life coaches that supported me in my journey and still support me today. I put importance on working with a life coach every week because the learning and growth never stop. There is always more that I can work on to become truly a grateful, compassionate human being. So if you or someone you know is struggling in any way, I hope that you'll suggest the idea of a life coach to them. You never know if it could be that one thing to help you move forward in your journey. I'd be happy to connect with anyone to see if our working together would be a good fit, or if I can connect you to someone if I am not able to help you. So look into life coaching. look into a life coach. We're never too old for a coach, right? It's someone outside of your brain seeing what you are experiencing and giving you possibly a different way of looking at this. And it's not about giving advice or telling you exactly what to do. It is tapping into what's already kind of hidden within you, but you just haven't been focused on that for so long. You've been repeating the same sort of process that you can't even see that possibility that's over there for you. So everything is within you. Life coaches just sort of help you see that in a different way, and you nourish that to maybe bring it out a little more. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to my experience of working with a life coach, how I developed into a life coach. And please do me a favor and click that like button or share so that I can reach more individuals and share the value of working with a life coach. I want to make the world a better place, and I know that that can happen working with one person at a time. All right, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you in a couple weeks.